Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. And today I am here to do a get ready with me featuring neglected products in my collection. Now, I don't normally do intros with my makeup done. I feel like that's kind of like seeing a spoiler to a video, but I just wanted to do this intro because this is the first time I have filmed in quite a while. So this Get Ready With Me does feature products that I have not reached for in a long time in my collection. It also includes some makeup thoughts, some life thoughts. If it's awkward or full of incomplete thoughts or ideas, bear with me. This video is kind of a way for me to take stock with some of the products that I have in my collection that I either fell into the hype over and haven't really touched in a long time, or that I just neglected, generally speaking. It was a little bit inspired by Tara Lynn, who actually did a video recently talking about overhyped products. I'm kind of going back to them and getting some different perspectives on them. And then I was also inspired because I have recently reached for a neglected concealer in my collection thanks to Kara C always talking about it. So I was kind of inspired just to dig in and see what's in my collection, see what I haven't touched in a while, what I haven't put my fingers into, and put it all together in a Get Ready With Me. I hope you all enjoy, and if you want to see how I got this colorful yellow and green as per usual look, please keep watching. The very first thing that I want to try today for the very first time is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Now, I'm not a primer person, just generally speaking, and when the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer got really popular, I was like, okay, whatever, it's an expensive primer. I don't care, I'm not gonna buy it. But when this one came out, you know, I've heard people say it's a dupe for the Tatcha one. I've heard people say it's not a dupe, but it's still good. I kept seeing it in my Target, but it would be sold out. So like they would have it, they would have the stand for it, but it would just not be there. And it was months, I think, before I actually passed by the stand and it was in stock. And I bought it. And it's been months that it's just sat in my drawer. I haven't tried it out. And for me, the parts of my face that I feel like the pores, if they bother me most kind of right in the very center. So that's where I'm going to kind of apply the product. I saw Britt Clark using her Tatcha Poreless Primer, and she mentioned she kind of like, I think that's what she was doing, kind of like, I guess pats it in, but doesn't swipe. It's more of like a push motion. And my nose, like the pores do kind of show, and I've always been curious about primer to see if it would help, but the last thing I wanted to do is kind of add another layer to my face. Trying to use just a very little amount. Trying, keyword. I'm going to use it under my eye on one side because, again, that was something I saw Britt do, and I was curious about it. Okay. Does it feel different? I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. So another product in my collection that I feel like I've neglected a little bit recently is my CoverGirl Matte BB Cream. So I owned this before, I think when it was first launched a few years back, and I liked it, and then it just left my collection at some point in time. And when CoverGirl went cruelty free last year, I went out and picked it up again. Now, I think it's just too matte for me, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's not like, my comparison is always like Dream Matte Mousse from Maybelline. It's not like that, but I don't know, let's see. There's also a very small amount that I'm starting with. I feel like for me, 2020 is the year that I'm definitely going to be adding to my collection, but right now, while I financially can't, and I know it's a common thing I keep saying, and if anyone's annoyed by it, like, you don't have to watch. That's really what it comes down to. But right now, while I financially can't add to my collection, I'm just really trying to take stock and see if what I have is product I like, if what I have is product that I'm reaching for, and if it's not, then the next step will be figuring out like how to give it a new life through donating or passing it along or whatever it might be. For anybody that does use the e.l.f. primer, do you find that if you apply product on top of the sponge, is it okay? Is it better to apply product on top with a brush? Like I just know so little about primer, and since I bought this, I do want to try to use it. So what I'm saying is that 2020 is the year of me trying to just kind of take stock and use things up if I can, pass them on if I'm not going to. And so I've been doing the Team Project Pan again this year. I did it in 2019 and I'm doing it in 2020. And a lot of the products that I'm mentioning today are not in my project pan, but they might get in there if I want. This one is, and this is a corrector pencil from Smashbox. So I have, for me, I feel like I have really dark circles right here, right in this like inner triangle area. And I always criticize concealer. I'm probably, concealer is probably the complexion product that I'm most interested in and most critical of. And a couple of conversations recently have, gone back to corrector. And I remember that I have this in my collection and I might as well use it up. So that's how I apply it. I apply it and then just tap it out lightly with my finger. I don't want to move the color, but I do want the edges of the color to be a little bit more blended than that first swipe. I also feel like this thins out the product just a little bit. Now, the product that kind of inspired all of this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. This is a product that I kept hearing about on YouTube. I feel like everybody was talking about it. I don't know if they were comparing it to the Too Faced one that I love, or they were just comparing it to other concealers, but I never saw it in any drugstores around New York City. And I was randomly, like in the first quarter of 2019, I was at a Walmart and they had the full collection of these concealers, and I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh shit, that's the concealer that everybody's talking about, and if I can find a drugstore cruelty-free concealer that works for me, like, sign me up. And then I brought it home. I tried it out a couple of times and I was really, really unimpressed with it. And I think it was like, I feel like there was texture issues and maybe coverage. My first interactions with it, I was just not at all impressed. And I literally just it sat in my drawer for months. And I think at that time too, I was just highly in love with my Too Faced concealer. And then, as anyone that's been following knows, I discovered Kara C here on YouTube, and she loves this concealer and she has legit dark circles. And I was like, okay, if she really loves it, that's the one thing I do like to do, is I like to let my concealer sit just a little bit before I blend it out under my eyes. I was like, if she really loves it, I should give it another try. I really should. And so then I pulled it out kind of recently, and I already knew I was like less than in love with how Too Faced was as a brand, just generally speaking from last year. So I did pull it out and I've been enjoying it more. And then once everything happened with Nikki Tutorials and Jared's sister and all of that, I just felt like I'll use up my Too Faced concealer, but if I can have other ones that I'm raving about just as much or more than that, I would love that. So it does look nice. I'm still super critical of my dark circles. So like for me, I'm like, okay, it's nice. But I will say for drugstore price, I have to look back at the color range, but I feel like it was a pretty good color range. I'm excited to have this. And the thing that I'm almost annoyed by now is after I like freaked out so much about finally finding that concealer in Walmart, now I see it in different stores like on a regular basis. Speaking of Too Faced, the other product that I have found myself neglecting is my Peach Perfect powder. Now in my 2019 favorites, I mentioned my Anastasia Beverly Hills loose powder. And I think I just called it like a workhorse powder. I was like, it's good, but I wasn't raving about it. But I realized I haven't been reaching for this powder, even when I had it in my project pan and I put it back in there again, because for me, either when I first had it, I was a little like annoyed by the cost, so I was only using it on my under eyes and like the center of my face, and then I was using a different powder on the outskirts, and then I noticed it was turning my under eye concealer a darker color, so then I was only using it with certain concealers. I don't know, I do know. I realized that the ABH powder I will happily use all over my face and my under eyes, and it's a good color for me. I don't know, I think I just kind of fell out of love with this powder. And I want to see if it's me falling out of love with this product or if it's me just falling in love with a different product. The other powder that I just haven't been using is my RCMA No Color powder. I have it in this open powder container because it's better than what it came in. At some point in time, I will use this powder up, I think, but I just don't like it. Maybe it's perfectly fine under my eyes, but I remember not really loving it under my eyes, so this is what I was doing with the Too Faced powder, is I would do Too Faced in the center of my face, and then this cheaper RCMA powder on the outskirts. It's fine, it's fine. Now for blush, I pulled out a couple of ones I wanted to talk about. I don't know which one I'm gonna use just yet. I feel like I'm beating the dead horse, but I have to say this Too Faced Berries and Bubbly blush, I bought it, so I know what happened. I finally bought 2 of these blushes probably 2 months before the Cover FX blushes came out. And I enjoyed them during like those 2 months. And since then, I just barely have touched them. Like, I still think they're super cute. I think it's cute packaging. I like the concept. But now that I've had a dual pan blush, which I think the formula is just so much better, I'm just not in love with these. The other blush that I've highly neglected is my Tarte. This was the birthday gift, whenever it was in Sephora. I swear everyone and their mother on YouTube would rave about the Tarte blushes. And I got this and I'm like, it's fine. Even back when I liked matte blushes more, I'm like, it's fine, but literally Essence is doing better, in my opinion, than this. And the other one that I've neglected was probably one of the few BoxyCharm items that I really love, and this is the Laura Geller Tropicuse blush. Now, this is glowy, this is pretty. I think it's totally bulky packaging, but now that I've been more into glowy blushes, I do want to use this more. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use this Tarte blush. I'm gonna see what it looks like on my face, and if I want something glowy, I will layer up the Too Faced or Laura Geller on top. So I guess this is a combination video of like products I've neglected and products that I feel like I kind of fell into the hype between YouTube and Instagram and everything, and I don't necessarily feel are worth the hype. Or I do feel like they're worth the hype from going back and revisiting them. I think I was saying earlier is that 2020 is this year that I really want to take stock of my collection and figure out what works for me, what doesn't, and figure out what's worth saving and what I should let go of. I have a series that an extremely lovely patron and Instagram, Twitter follower, Tony, recommended for me to do with, I haven't filmed in a while, so I'm all ums and blah, 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 sorry. The other thing I've been doing, as soon as the cold weather hit, I really just like haven't been inspired to grab for my bronzer. I've just been doing blush basically all over. I mean, it's not a bad color. It looks very pink on me compared to the, like this color to me. It's not bad, but I've just been all about the glowy blushes. I'm gonna double dip into, wow, that's so powdery. These are also super powdery. I just dipped into both colors on this, and I'm gonna put this just on top of it to give a little bit of glow. Okay, so 2020 is this year of figuring things out and figuring out how my tastes have maybe evolved or refined themselves. I don't know if any other, especially smaller creators and people that aren't creating content, I don't know if you're like this. I've been feeling this like urge to declutter, but I also don't know if this is just like I want to do it because I see so many other people doing it. It's like one part of me wants to declutter and the other part of me is like, I spent my money on this. Do I really want to let it go? I don't know. I'm very torn because I could see myself getting rid of a lot of products that I just don't reach for anymore. And then I'm worried if I'm gonna have regret. It's like, I don't like matte blushes right now. Am I gonna get rid of all of my matte blushes because I don't reach for them? I don't know. Berlin Girl Glow. Berlin Girl Glow is a product that I've neglected, and it was a product that I lusted after a lot. And any of the people, if I've mentioned people in this video like who inspired me to buy this, there's no hate towards them. Like, so Kat from Beauty News loves this highlighter, raved about it, continues to rave about it. I signed up for the restock alert on Becca's website, like, because I thought it was gone forever and then it was gonna come back, and I don't know. I rarely buy directly from a brand website for a mainstream brand. If you're sold at Sephora or Ulta, I want to buy from Sephora or Ulta. Just how I work. I bought this from Becca. It's the only thing I bought. I paid for shipping, and it's just okay on me. I think a couple of things. I don't think the Becca formula is my favorite, generally speaking. I had pulled out another highlighter actually as well that I have highly neglected. It's also from Becca. The Jade highlighter, Jade Flashes something highlighter. And I think my biggest thing with both of these is they're just too dark on my skin to lift the way that I want highlighter to lift. This is best on me in the summer when I've tanned or when I've overly bronzed my face. It actually looks really cool on a very bronzed face. But I don't think these formulas are the high impact shine that I want them to be. And for how much I lusted over this, I'm annoyed at how it hasn't worked and how I feel like I've neglected it, even though I have tried. I've tried to use it. The other highlighter that I've neglected that makes me really sad is this Ofra. This is Ofra, I think Beverly Hills. So this Ofra highlighter I stared at for a long time because I felt like at least half, if not most of it, was like pale person friendly. And I thought if I can get multiple colors in one go, I'm in, I'm down. And it went on sale, and then it went on super sale, and then I had a 20% off coupon all on Ulta. So I finally bought it because I love Pillow Talk. I love that color on me and I love that formula. And then this one feels different. It feels very powdery. I think the way I really noticed it is that with Pillow Talk, I can use that as an inner corner highlight on my eyes, and it's amazing. And it's like just one little punch and it's intense. This one, even with the whitest shade, I have to really build it up on the inner corner, and then it looks really powdery and like cakey. I don't know if it's the in pan formula is different from what they put in the compact, or if this color is just a different formula or what, but I mean, it definitely lifts. I don't love it. I don't reach for it. It makes me less eager to try other Ofra highlighters. I think I'm gonna do my brows off camera because I've already talked enough. I think I'm gonna give this ColourPop eyebrow pencil another try. I don't think it's bad, but I just don't reach for my eye pencils. Okay, not the worst brows I've ever done, I have to say. Although it's really funny because in my live stream, I was asking people like, how do you know when a brow gel is done? Because I feel like some brow gels go on forever and ever. And a couple people said your brows will just look different when it runs out. And I definitely just had that happen with this one, which is good because I don't have to show my problematic buying on YouTube anymore. Yeah, I bought a couple of Lime Crime products when I bought some stuff in that Urban Outfitters sale a few months back. It's fine, but I'd prefer not to give my money to that brand. And on that note, eye primer. So I used to live and die by the Smashbox 24-hour eye primer. And then I think I just fell out of love with it. I was annoyed with the packaging. The tube has split on me in the past, and for how expensive the product is, I would prefer for that not to happen. And then I realized that for me, if I just used glitter glue, like I could use a regular concealer as a primer and then use glitter glue. But I have noticed lately that like sometimes shadows will look patchy on me, and I don't think it's the shadow's fault. And I'm wondering if it's the lack of primer. So I'm gonna try it again and just see what happens. I have a question for y'all, for anybody that watches these kind of videos, because I know that demos or tutorials are less watched, or get ready with me's. So something I've noticed actually Kara C do is that she will do one eye off camera and then come on and do the second eye on camera. I normally do it this way, where I do the one eye on camera with y'all and then do the second eye off, and the first eye is kind of a discovery process. But would it be more helpful or more interesting to have the first eye done so you can watch how it happens? Let me know. I'd be happy to change it up or keep it the same. Now for shadows. I had to feature Menagerie Cosmetics in this video. So all of these square pans, these 3 rows, are all Menagerie shadows. The majority of these were from the Feral palette, but some of them are from Dragon Child. I lusted after Makeup Monster's turned Menagerie Cosmetics. Just everyone and their mother was talking about the Dragon Child palette, talking about how amazing it was. I remember I bought Dragon Child and some liquid lipsticks right before they changed their branding over. And then when they revealed the Feral palette, I was like, all in, I'm there. I pre-ordered it. When they revamped it and added 2 new shades, I got those. And then I just stopped using them. And I'm thinking perhaps I stopped using them because I found Lethal Cosmetics, because Menagerie was always like my go-to matte shadows. I'm gonna go in with yellow because yellow is life. I think also what happened was that I just started doing more shimmer focused eye looks. So, you know, honestly, outside of like Menagerie and Lethal and a couple of Color Rain shadows, I don't really care about matte shadows all that much. I just don't. They're just not my go-to thing anymore. So I guess I just stopped using them because of that. I just put eye primer on my under eye, but I think that just destroyed my concealer. And if anyone notices, my under eye concealer on this eye looks real rough, and I think it's the color corrector, but we are already doing the thing. What's next? I mean, I think everyone knows what I'm gonna do. If you saw these colors, what do you think I would do? If your answer is green, you are correct. I mean, this is a gorgeous green shadow. Whoa. Whoa! Okay, I've never applied a Menagerie shadow with this kind of brush. This is, of course, a refer brush. Whoa! That just packed on the color so intensely. Wow, okay. And that actually blended it out really easily. Oh, yeah, these rougher brushes are still an absolute favorite. And now that I've used this, I'm actually inspired. I always feel like whenever I try to do different colors, like within my eye, that I just blend them too much. Going in a little bit of a turquoise shade. Probably could have done a better job of doing like going in with like a deeper shade and doing the green here and then the turquoise. But I'm gonna keep it as that. Now I pulled out a palette that I feel like I've neglected quite a lot. That is subculture. I got this early in 2019. I found it at TJ Maxx. I was super excited because I'd heard Lacey and some other people that I follow talk about the revamped formula and how much better it was. And I'm sure that this is a better formula than the first release of this palette, but I just don't reach for this palette. I find the colors still pretty obnoxious to work with for myself. Like I'm obsessed with the color story. I think it's beautifully done. I just don't love their formula. And I have other mustards and greens and teals that I will reach for instead. So I might even be giving this palette away at some point in time in the near future. So I thought I would reach for it again because I do actually love some of the shimmers in here. Electric, I would almost keep this palette for electric alone. So I'm gonna put electric on the lid, and I might put the really bright shimmer green on the outside corner of my lid as well. Is it like scandalous to not love the revamped subculture formula? Let me know what you think. I just, there's other matte formulas that I love, and I have the colors. So yeah, speaking of Rephr's P21 brush is really nice for shimmers. Like, oh my god. If I'm being honest, Electric is the first rendition of Lime Chrome from Natasha Denona. And this green from Menagerie, it's so pretty, but it gets hard pan, and I don't know if it's less pretty right now because it's so hard panned, or if I just had it in my head a different way, but it's fine. It's not my favorite green. I'm more into Electric than I am the green, to be honest. I was about to slather Electric all over my inner corner, but I forgot that I have a Stila Glitter and Glow that I want to use. This is in Mint Myth. This was their like White Lies collection. I know I got this on sale because even at that point in time, I knew myself good enough to know that I don't use these up fast enough to pay full price. And I haven't touched it since I got it. And the only reason I got it is because it's a green. But this formula is not glittery as much as it is just shiny, which is not my favorite. It's fine, but I regret even getting it on sale. I have other bright green inner corner colors. I might put the Subculture and Menagerie colors there as well. I can't help myself. I have to bring my shimmer up above the lid, especially in the very front of my eye. I just can't help myself. That's unfortunate. My turquoise and my green kind of blended together on my eye. I think that's one thing that I have noticed with the Menagerie colors is sometimes they do muddy together more than I would expect. It's interesting to go back to a product after a while. Okay, we're back with the second eye all done. When I did this eye, I actually only used the green and not the green and turquoise on the eye, just so you could see what I'm saying about particularly I think with these colors mixed together. The turquoise from Menagerie that I used in the inner corner just kind of muddied into green once it was all blended with the yellow, so don't even really need the turquoise to get the same look. I used a teaspoon from ColourPop on the inner rim. Can somebody please make not blue tone green liners? Can I get a lime and like an olive, and please, like the colors that are actually on my eyes, I want in liner form. And I used my Glossier Lash Slick. Both of these I have been neglecting a bit. The Glossier mascara, once I got my Essence Lash Princess, this is basically no more, and it's pretty much used up. I can probably say goodbye to it soon. I'm holding on for dear life because I'm stingy. And this liner I've kind of been neglecting and kind of been using, and it's fine. I also have this product from Starlit Studios, which I feel like was just, is it just a Target brand? I don't know. But it's a pen liner, but more importantly, it's a star stamper liner. I've always lusted after the Milk makeup ones, but I could never spend the money. And then I saw these in Target, and I finally picked one up a couple months ago after like looking at it over the summer. And I've only used it like once or twice, so I thought I would use it today. And I don't know, let's just go for it. Oh, oh no. After all of this work, I get ruined by some shitty star stampers? No. You've already... Oh. Fuck. Well, am I ever gonna use you again? Probably not. Am I glad I'm not going anywhere after this? Definitely am. Okay, whatever. It happens. So for lips, I pulled out a couple of pinky toned products since my cheeks turned out pretty pink. I have this lip crayon from Bite, and I believe this was one of the birthday gifts. Was it this year? No, it was the birthday gift last year, and I just haven't reached for it. For a couple of years in a row, I adored Bite and would pick up their holiday gift sets with these kind of pencil formulas that they called matte, and I definitely use them. I have a bunch in my collection that I should probably get rid of because they're a couple of years old and Bite is all natural. But I remember just loving this formula, and then I just fell out of love with them, and I don't know why I fell out of love. It feels fine, it feels good. These formulas to me are not matte at all, and they smell fruity. They smell like fruity candy. I should try to use this more often. It's a nice color. It's like a nice pinky neutral for me. God, I hate those stars. Damn it. And then I also pulled out this gloss from Urban Decay. This is another one I picked up, I feel like it must have been 2018, and I loved this. I mean, it looks like I put on a clear gloss, but Back Talk has a nice color to it. I feel like I may have tried to use this last winter, and the mint kind of fucked with my lips, so it's possible that that's why I stopped using it. It is pretty though. I have to pull this out more often. So that's the finished look. We're gonna ignore the ugly star stamps. I mean, they're there, but we're gonna try to ignore it, right? So this is the finished look. And this is my full face of products that I've neglected. To quickly run through the things that I tried. The e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Of course, I have to wear this and see how the wear time is on this, because an hour of fucking around with makeup does not tell me anything. But I will say that my nose, which is normally the first place that I see texture and pores, does look really nice and smooth right now. So we'll see. We'll see. When I looked at it earlier, my under eye that I'd put the primer on looked nicer than the other one, but right now I can't tell too much of a difference. So it's not disgusting. I don't hate it right away. We'll have to play around with it more again. The matte BB cream is fine, but I do feel like I'm more neutral on it than I used to be. The two powders that I used are both just fine. The RCMA is like, it's so basic. It's not anything to write home about. The Too Faced Peach Perfect one is also fine. I'm just not in love with it the way I used to be. Like it's good, but it doesn't feel like a super special unicorn product. Both the blushes are pretty. The glow that I feel like I have coming through the strongest is actually my highlighter, because I have a tendency to pull it down onto my cheeks. The two highlighters that I used, Berlin Girl Glow and the Ofra one, again, they are both fine products. I think they are kind of two ends of the extreme, because the Ofra is actually making my skin look a little bit almost too highlighted, like almost a little frosty. And then this one added a nice glow to my nose, that's for sure. I don't know, I want to like this more than I do. Same with the Ofra highlighter. Oh, concealers. This pencil reacted really weird on this eye and like kind of came through the powder, which was really odd. So, and this was not the eye that I put the primer down on, so I don't know what's going on here. I like the Milani concealer. I think that this is going to be my go-to repurchase. Does it cover every dark bit under my eyes? No, but that's not the kind of concealer I want to buy. I don't want to use Shape Tape anymore. I want to use something that has coverage but is not too cakey or too intense, and I think this is a nice one. And I've used this for my like concealer face days when I just do concealer, no foundation or BB cream, and it's also good for that. For eyes, I'm actually happy that I pulled this back out, and you might start seeing this more on camera. I still use a glitter glue with my shimmers, but I think this is really nice for my matte shadows, and the Menagerie mattes were quite nice. I still do think that they can muddy up a little bit, so if you're using really similar colors, you might not want to do that. You may want to do more bold, different tones if you're gonna try to kind of do 2 or 3 colors on the eye. But they blended out really nice. The yellow blended out beautifully. The green was really pretty. The shimmer is fine, but for super shiny bright greens, this is not going to be the first one that I'm going to reach for. Subculture, I still feel pretty strongly that I'm going to pass this on. And yeah, Electric is gorgeous, but it's not a reason to keep a whole palette. This little sucker here, one, I can already see it separating in the tube and it's not that old. 2, I just think I'm over these liquid shadows. Other miscellaneous eye products, actually excited to try to use this ColourPop pencil more. It's a little waxy, so I have to press down quite a lot to get it to look pigmented, but I'm glad I reached for it again. This is probably going in the trash because it's dried up. Same for my brow gel, probably same for my mascara. It's really on its last leg. And this ColourPop liner seems okay. And then lips, I'm both good with. Anyway, that is everything for today. Thank you for sticking around. I'm sure this is a long one because every Get Ready With Me I do is a long one. In terms of this video, I know with Get Ready With Me's, I tend to leave a lot of incomplete thoughts throughout the video because I get distracted and start talking about other things. If there's anything that I mentioned in the video that you want to hear me talk about more, do a video on, or whatever it might be, or just answer some questions, please leave it in the comments because I don't want to be that annoying person that just, I don't know, throws out like a tidbit of information and never finishes things up. And also I want to, you know, talk to y'all and see how you're doing. Are you looking through your collection more and trying to figure out what's what, or are you just basking in new stuff? Tell me. I want to hear all about it. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to follow along with my colorful shenanigans, I'd love for you to subscribe. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you all so very much. I appreciate every single one of you. I just recently got monetized, and that is super fucking exciting because having a hobby that can make even just a little bit of money here and there is really cool. Thank you to all my patrons, and if you are interested in becoming a patron of my channel, I would love to have you. It's linked in the description box. I do beauty content and food content over there, and I appreciate everyone's support. And I just appreciate that you have been hanging out with me and spent a little bit of your day with me. Thank you so very much. I hope to see you again real soon.